Hey you guys, my name is Sarah. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and you guys enjoy my content, please think about hitting the subscribe button down below. Welcome back to all my other subscribers. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for being here again today. I really do appreciate it. Alright you guys, so we are going to be talking about plant neglect, and I feel like no one ever really seems to talk about this much. So it's a beautiful day out. I figured I'd bring you guys outside. The sun's getting ready to set, so hopefully it'll be light enough. And I'm just drinking some hot tea in my little Thug Life mug. So yeah, I figured I would talk to you guys about plant neglect, my personal experience with it, why it happens, all that stuff, and show you guys some plants that are on the neglected list. So I guess let's just get right to it. Alright, so I wanted to talk about this because I feel like no one really talks about plant neglect, and that is a huge real thing. So I was talking to my friend Stacia over at My Soiled Planties this morning, and I was just checking in with her, seeing what was going on, and we were both talking about it, and I said that's really funny because I'm wanting to make a video about it, about plant neglect, that it's just a real thing that people struggle with. So I would say the number one reason you might run into neglect with your plants would be time. I feel like that's what it is for me and my friends that I've talked to, is time. Is that maybe, you know, you bought too many plants when you shouldn't have, and you have a lot in your collection now, and you just don't have the time to take care of them, and things start struggling and it gets even harder, or things get pests and it becomes more harder, and it just happens. And so then you see a plant that's doing sad and you just kind of fall out of love with it and you don't really care and you just kind of let it die. I've also seen that there's a lot of shaming out here for people who are just completely done and over with a plant. I have a Monstera Addisonii that is outside hanging under my carport that had spider mites 3 times. I've cut this thing completely down. It got all these yellow leaves, and I just left it hanging there, and I left it hanging out there, and it froze the other night, and all the yellow leaves just got worse, and it's totally a case of neglect. Obviously, if I have a plant that I don't love, I always try to make sure to find somebody, one of my friends or anything like that, that wants it first. You can just give them away free if you want, but I also don't think it's right to shame a person if they want to throw away a plant, okay? You know what? It happens all the time. I'm sorry to say it, but big box stores murder plants, and anytime you go in there, there's dead plants all over the place. It happens, okay? So yeah, I get that you spent your money on it, and obviously you want to try to take care of it if you can, but there's no shame in letting that plant go when it's time. But yeah, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. It's completely dead. I did the same thing with this little peperomia that was out there. I tried, I struggled, and I just was over it. I'm like, you know what? Some plants just don't want to be saved. They want to die, okay? I also think it's really important that when you're collecting plants, to only buy the plants that you really love. Don't just buy plants just to fill up your house with houseplants, because I have noticed that the ones that I don't really love are the ones that get neglected first. So yeah, like I had this pothos that I showed you guys that I wanted to repot or do something with. You know what? It's just completely turned yellow leaves, and it's in horrible condition. I need to completely chop it up and either start over, propagate the vines, but I haven't. I've just left it there to basically just die. It's sad, but it happens. So yeah, I want to make sure that you guys understand that plant neglect is definitely a real thing. Sometimes you just fall out of love of your plants, or you get pests, or you got too many plants. It is a real thing. And I really want to take away the stigma, if there is any stigma, around people bullying people because they're throwing plants away or chopping them up. It is so crazy to me that people freak out if you chop up like a large plant. I chopped up my Rojo Congo because it was damaged and looked bad, and it's crazy because people do freak out and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're chopping that up. But look at it now, it's coming back to life and it's doing so much better. So sometimes you just need to kind of take it back down to nothing and restart from scratch. So having houseplants can be a really helpful thing to you. I know that It's been a really good thing to help with my anxiety. If I'm feeling like wound up in any type of way, I'll do some plant chores or take care of my plants or just dilly-dally with them, as my husband likes to say. And yeah, hang out and do plant chores because there's always watering, there's always cleaning or moving stuff around, and I really do think that it helps me and I love it in that sense. But then there's another side of it that can be not so great if you are completely overwhelmed, you have no time. Like, I know right before Christmas break I was working for my parents and I was working my job, and literally just week and then Christmas came, like I just severely underwatered my plants. I am definitely an underwater, that's how I neglect my plants, but during this time I just didn't even care to try to water my plants. So you know, if your life is crazy and hectic things, think about downsizing your collection. I would definitely suggest downsizing your collection if you guys aren't absolutely in love with it, to something that's more manageable. Also, if you have all your plants in one area, I think that helps. I kind of have my plants strode all over my house, which doesn't help when it comes to taking care of them. I feel like I could take care of them better if I wasn't just running all over the house, but that's just what works for me. I have a small plant room, which I gave you guys a tour of that, and I just have a couple other bedrooms that have plants, and I have plants in my living room behind the couch, and then I have plants on my sunroom. So yeah, I am definitely an underwater. I would say out of the two, being an underwater or overwater, at least I'm glad that I'm underwater, because overwater you can't really come back from. Sometimes being underwater you can come back from. But yeah, I let like all of my Scindapsus or my pothos or my philodendrons like just curl. All my hanging plants, their leaves curl way too much, and it's okay to do that every so often, but every single time you need to give your plants a drink to do that, it's not good. And there'll be a point like what I hit with my pothos where I did it one too many times and it freaked out and lost a bunch of yellow leaves. For an example, I had my Maranta that I knew needed more attention, and I put it out on my sunroom. I cut off a bunch of the dead leaves, and it is a little bit colder out there, and I underwatered it and totally neglected it, and it's just not happy with me. So I think part of the reason why you might fall out of love with some of your plants because you're not properly taking care of them, which might be some of the other factors that we talked about, having too many plants or not having enough time. So yeah, dwindle down your collection if you guys feel like it's just overwhelming to you. You have too many plants, or try to put them all into one area if you can. That seems to help. Like, I know that all my plants that are in my plant room I take way better care of because I just walk in there a lot and I check them, and I'll tend to just grab the plant and take it to the sink and water it right then. So yeah, I hope that me talking about plant neglect makes you feel a little bit better if you're a plant neglector like me, an underwater. Just understand that it happens sometimes, you guys, depending on where you are in your life. I know that like when I was depressed and I lost my dog and I was so sad and stuff, I didn't feel like doing anything, but then there became a point where I got a lot of fulfillment and joy from caring for my plants. It got my mind off of things. So just understand that it's kind of a wave that you have to ride with plant collecting. At least it is for me in my collection. And don't feel bad that, you know, if you're not feeling so great or not feeling like you have the time to take care of your plants so much, it is a normal thing. It just happens to everybody. And you guys, you know, don't be so hard on yourself. And also don't ever pick on anyone, okay, for getting rid of a plant because it's sick or they don't like it or it's unhealthy. I understand, okay, I do understand not getting rid of a plant that is, you know, thriving, okay. You can do porch pickups or list it on Facebook or give it to another planty friend. So yeah, I do understand that one, but it's also that person's personal opinion whether they want to get rid of a plant or not. So yeah, my Monstera Addisoniana that is so bad. I'm chopping it completely down. I'm gonna keep the bucket and I'm just gonna see what happens. You know, when spring comes, it could do the same thing. It could come back and be happy again, but we'll just see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like my channel and liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you guys aren't already subscribed to my channel. I am on a random posting schedule, so if you guys don't want to miss any of my uploads, make sure you have that little bell turned on so you guys don't miss anything. But thank you so much if you guys made it to the end of this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll be back at you guys again soon with another one. Bye.